Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, as you can tell by the title of this video, and yes, I have this brush here because I've had to repowder so many times because I'm sweating bloody balls over here. It is so hot. I can't afford aircon. My bloody real estate wouldn't even dare give me aircon. They hate me so much. Today I'm going to be filming a story time video. Before I get started on this video, I just thought I would mention the discoloration on my chest. I'm so burnt. I have the worst tan line ever just from sitting at a cafe for like an hour without sunscreen on in the sun. Basically, I'm like peeling like everything, so I have to like wear things that cover my chest because it looks so bad, but you can kind of see like the discoloration there. So do apologize for that, not on my ball game lately. So yes, today I'm going to be filming a story time video about something that happened to me recently. And I'm telling you guys now, you're going to literally die. Like, I can't even believe my life sometimes. This is literally me. So this story is, I mean, it's funny now. It's not really funny, but you know, it is funny now that I kind of like look back at it. But at the time it was a little scary. You know, maybe this will kind of inspire some of you to basically not leave things to the last minute because you could literally die. Pretty much this happened to me literally just like a week and a half ago, so it is fresh. I'll just kind of tell you guys a little bit about me first off. Firstly, I literally know shit all about cars. Adulting is not something that I always am 100% confident with, making adult decisions. So when it comes to things like cars and whatever, I'm just really not 100% crystal clear. So yes, every time someone tells me something about cars or something to do with cars, it just kind of goes straight over my head because bitch, I don't give a bloody shit half the time about cars. Like, I just don't. I was driving along in my car, and my car is not old. It's not an old car, but it's not really new either. So I'm driving along in my car, and all of a sudden, this is like a couple of weeks ago, my wheel sort of was shaking. Of course, the first thing I do is call my mother because she must know everything. I call her up and I'm like, Mum, my wheel's shaking, and she's like, maybe you need a wheel alignment. God only knows what that means, or why you even need a wheel alignment, or why your wheel just all of a sudden is not aligned, but that's what she basically told me. So I'm like, all right. But she's like, you know, you may need a wheel alignment, and I'm like, well, do I need to get it done right away? She's like, not really, but I would, you know, maybe look in to get it looked at in the, you know, near future. I was like, well, no. Because why would I do that? I mean, I don't want to spend money on my car. So I'm like, no, it's fine, it'll be fine. Anyways, the wheel sort of was like shaking some days, and then other days that I drove the car, it wasn't shaking. It was really bizarre. So a few other times that I drove it, it was like really shaking, and then a few other times it wasn't really doing it. And so I kind of thought it was just the roads because I'm such a dumbass bitch. I'm driving along like a few days later, and the wheel and the car all of a sudden is shaking, like the entire car, like the passenger seat and everything is shaking. So I call my mum again because, you know, that's just what we do. I call my mum again and I'm like, hey, my car's like really shaking now, and like the whole entire car's shaking. So she's like, what is that noise? And I'm like, it's my car. And she's like, you need to pull over. It sounds like you have a flat tire. So I pull over. I was on a highway at this time. I pull over to the side of the road. I get out of the car and I'm looking around at all the tires, and like I'm pressing on them, and I'm like, no, they seem really fine. Like my boobs, they just seem really fine. Like everything seems really okay. Not like there's nothing. My mum's like, is any of the tires, like, do they look flat, like on the ground? I'm like, no, of course not. Like, I'm driving the car. None of them are flat on the ground. Like, they all look fine. She's like, well, I think you need to go to a service station and get your tires fixed. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I was on my way to pick up a package at this point. So of course I didn't go to the service station because #priorities. So I go pick up my package, and then I kind of drive past the service station. I'm like, oh, it's so busy, and like, I just feel awkward going to service stations and like asking people for help, just because I feel like people can sometimes look down on you. Like, why don't you know like how to do this? Because I'm a 23-year-old white girl, that's why. So I drive past, I'm like, you know what, like, it's fine. I'll book in to get a service next week and to get my car checked, but like, it's fine, I don't need to do it right now. So a few days later, I'm driving to work, and I actually drive a fair distance to work. So I'm driving along and my car is really, really shaking at this point. Like, it's actually really quite intense. My wheel is shaking, the passenger seat is shaking, the back seats are shaking, like my whole entire car is shaking. Like it's like an earthquake in this bitch. I'm like this, like having a bloody stroke in the car, and I'm like, if people like are driving past me, they probably can actually see me like inside the car, like shaking like this. Like my mind on this day was in a completely different world. Like I was thinking about a lot of different things, and then I was thinking about my car, and I'm driving along, and I was kind of like running late, a little late for work, so I could see that I was doing 5Ks over the speed limit. Next minute, I look behind me and there is a police car behind me, and I'm always so observant about police cars. Like I always know when there are going to be police cars around, but I didn't see this police car, so I'm driving along and this police car's behind me, but because my car's shaking so much, I can't tell if he's like telling me to move over or anything. So I was in the right lane at this point, and I just presumed he wanted to overtake me, so I move into the left lane, I indicate move in, and then he follows me and he puts his lights on. And I'm telling you now, like I have never ever been pulled over by the police in my life, like literally, and I'm on my full license, so I've been driving for years now. I've never ever been pulled over by the police. I've had one random breath test in my life, so I'm like, oh my goodness, like what do I do? Do I run? Do I hide? I'm like, you know what, Jess, you're just gonna have to deal with it. I pull over to the side of the road. Embarrassing, isn't it? Well, like when you get told to pull over by a policeman, everyone else is like driving past, like, oh, what a sheet. I'm like, go fuck yourself. I thought he was pulling me over because I was doing 5Ks over, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna have to say that yes, I can't deny it, like I was doing 5Ks over. He comes over to me and asks me how I am and for my license and everything. Still hasn't told me why he's pulled me over. And then he tells me that I didn't indicate changing lanes, like not when he was pulling me over, but before I like went into the right lane or went into the left lane, I didn't indicate. And I always indicate. I hate people that don't indicate. It's so annoying because it's like literally it takes like a second. But I think as my mind was in a different world and my car was, you know, mucking up and everything, I just forgot to indicate. So I apologized to him. He told me it was an offense, but obviously he wasn't going to do anything because it's not like I did anything terrible. And he's like, okay, you're free to go. So I'm traumatized at this point. Like, I'm like, this is terrible. This is a great start to my day. Like, I'm already late. I've been pulled over by the cops. So I pull out of the space that I was in, and I get back on the highway, and I'm trying to merge, and I know there were cars like kind of going past me, but it wasn't very busy. There was just like a few cars that were going past me, and the speed limit was 110 kilometers. So I'm trying to get my car up to 110 to merge on the freeway and to get going, and my car won't go up to 110. It only goes up to 100, and it's making all of these weird noises, and it won't go any faster than 100. So I knew immediately there was something wrong with my car, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to try and get my car fixed at some point soon because there's something wrong with it. Trying to get my car up to 110, it won't. I'm going along at 100. I'm like, this is so bad. Next minute, my car just makes this noise and like drops, like literally drops. I feel it drop. It makes this banging noise, and I'm like, oh my goodness, my tire is gone. Like legit, my tire has gone. Like it is just, it's done. And I know this because I've had this happen to me before. Years ago, I was driving along and I got a flat tire, and something had punctured my tire and bursted it, and my car was like going at like literally 20 k's along a highway, and I had to pull over to the side of the road, and then someone came and like helped me change the tire. But this time it was so bad that I couldn't just pull over to the side of the road. I lost complete control of the car. So it's not even funny. Like, it's not funny. It actually isn't, but it's funny because you guys, you're gonna laugh when I tell you like what I did. So my car has completely lost all control. I'm like trying to veer it off. I'm in the right lane because that's where the car took me. Like, I had no control of it. I'm trying to brake. It is not stopping, and since I was on a highway, there was like a little median strip in between the roads to like separate the highway. So there was like 2 lanes going this way, and then over the other side 2 lanes going the other way. So in this particular medium strip, or whatever they call it, it was just grass and like dirt. And I'm so lucky that there wasn't trees or a pole, or that I was on like a 2-way street, because I would have had like a collision. But it was just dirt and grass where this happened to me. So I had no control and I'm veering off and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to run into this like ditch, like I'm gonna have to stop the car. So there was like a little pole, like those little white poles with the red lights that turn on when it's nighttime, and I thought I was gonna have to hit this pole. Like I'm gonna have to hit this pole in order to stop my car. Like my car is out of my control, I'm gonna have to hit it, and I'm going at like 100 k's, like literally 100 k's, which is not slow. So I miss the pole and I just go straight into this medium strip. Luckily there was a ditch that the car sort of went down into, not a deep ditch, but a little ditch. If it had been flat, I reckon my car would have gone straight out to the other side of the highway and like been on the road, which would have been really, really bad and awkward and like very, very unsafe. But there was a ditch, so the car went down into the ditch and I'm just sitting there. Now you would think what most people would do in a situation like this is they'd be so scared. Like I've never had a bad, accident or anything like this before. And you would think that people would be like, oh my God, like I can't believe this has just happened, and like freaking out and like crying. This is me with my sunglasses on. I kid you not. I'm sitting in my car with these sunglasses on and my black work uniform in this ditch in my car, which has stopped. I haven't stopped the car, my car has just stopped, and I'm just like this. Like, I can't even believe it. I was so calm for some reason, I don't know why. Anyway, so all of the like dust from the dirt and gravel from next to the car was flying up, and I thought that it was my car smoking. So I put my hazard lights on, gotten out of the car, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to like call the NRMA or someone to come and like help me. And then this very nice man who he was in his car with his son who was on his learners, was over the other side of the highway, and he like yelled out to me, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what happened. So he walks over and he's like, is it your tire? And I'm looking around at all my tires. I'm like, all my tires seem fine, but the tire at the very front on the right was covered by grass and it was completely ruined. It obviously was like flat to the ground. There were wires out of the tire, like it had busted. It actually blown up this tire. So next minute, like this guy's like, oh, are you okay? Are you in shock? I'm like, no, I'm fine. So anyway, so like literally 10 seconds later, this policeman pulls up, not the same one that pulled me over for the RBT, thank God, but another policeman pulls up, and this man's like, okay, I'm gonna go now, and I was like, thanked him. And then this policeman gets out of his car and he has to like put my tire on for me, like change my tire because this one was completely burst. So he's changing my tire. It is 40 degrees or 41 degrees on this day, which is so hot, and I was in all black. He was in like a police uniform with like long pants and long this and all that sort of stuff, and it was so hot. I had like a massage table in the back of my car, so I had to get that out, lay it like on front, like rested up against the front of his police car, which had his lights going and everything, while he got my tire out. And it actually was kind of funny because, to be honest with you, no one could see him changing my tire, like because it was on the other side of like my car, or the cars were going on the other side. Because he was like getting stuff out of my boot, it actually for me looked like a drug bust. Like it looked like he was looking in my boot for something. So I'm sitting there like with my glasses on, like this is my only chance of being cool ever in life. Like people are gonna think like he's pulled me over and I've got like cocaine or something. So I'm like this. Yeah guys, drug bust, like just found all of my stash, like Italian mafia, represent, like cash me outside, how about it? So anyways, he's changing my tire, and because I didn't know how to do it, I honestly had no idea how to change a tire. I've been shown like multiple times, I still don't know, it just goes straight over my head. So he changes my tire and then he sends me off. Didn't end up going to work that day because I was actually quite like, after a while I was a little bit shook by it, but I ended up doing that and not going into work because I was just like, I'm not going to turn up to work and like just pretend like everything is fine when I just ran into a ditch. Like I've run myself into a ditch, literally. So anyways, that is basically the story of my terrible experience recently. It could have been a lot worse had there been trees or poles or nothing in the middle and I had have just gone straight up to the other side. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to follow me on my social media. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.